Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. Narrated and drawn by Amanda BillyRock. Chapter 1. If you're anything like me, you went to school. I think most of us did. And there you are, sitting at your desk all super smart. Your mind was wide open and you were ready to learn. And you were in economics class. And your teacher was talking about fancy pants stuff like GDP, and he was using percentages and graphs. What if I told you that the economics you learned was actually super lame? You see, the thing about the percentages and the graphs and the tables and the pie charts is that they were all used to teach you really only two things: the immediate effects of laws that intervene in the economy, and those effects on just a group or a few groups, not everyone. Let's take a hypothetical situation. A party. You've been super psyched for the weekend, and you decide it's time to have a few drinks. Bud, Miller, Keystone Light, gross. Corona, don't forget the lime. And the most poor choice of the evening, 4 shots of Jaeger. See, you enacted a policy of consuming 8 drinks within just a few hours. Its immediate effects felt really great, but you neglected to take into account the long-term effects of that policy. Ew, gross. You've also slept in until 1:25, which makes you a real schmuck, because you're not the only one who's going to be negatively affected by the policy you adopted last night. See, you told your grandma that you would help her replace her broken railing at 10 a.m. this morning. You only considered the short-term consequences of a policy, and not the long-term. The economics that's taught in the classrooms of most of America comes to you from a guy named John Maynard Keynes. Which makes sense, because Mr. Keynes cared so little for long-term consequences that once he even said, "In the long run, we are all dead." Let's move on to the second concept you were taught in class, the one about looking at the effects of a policy on just one or a few groups and not all. Your friend has recently fallen head over heels with his dream woman. Whenever she's around, it's like the birds are singing and the sun is shining. But your friend has an issue with money. He happens to be one of your sketchier friends, and one day when you're not looking, he totally jacks cash out of your wallet. Yeah, for real. In fact, you could say that your friend kind of redistributed your wealth, and he benefited greatly from it. But you and your grandma, not so much. See, when you look at a law's effects on just one group, like your friend, and not everyone, like you and your grandma, well, you see what I mean. So when politicians come out with new laws, as they're so fond of doing, this is a short stack, one must wonder, what are the long-term consequences of such a policy, and how does it affect everyone? Stay tuned for Chapter 2.